Hello, this is Fred and Sheila McCoy at the Hatfield McCoy Museum in Liberty, Kentucky. Hatfield's McCoy's Museum.com for all the information. We're going to do another segment on one of our boards today. You might find this one interesting. This is the one nobody, or at least the West Virginia Hatfields or Devil Ance's family don't like, but it is what it is. And I should have brought the book in here. We've got the book in the other side of the museum, another part. But I've got a picture of it up here on the wall, and it's The Tale of the Devil, and by Coleman C Hatfield. And what we're going to discuss today is Shep Hatfield, Shepherd Hatfield. This is little Shep right here, the little boy, and next to him is Coleman A Hatfield holding a gun in the famous photo of the Hatfield family. Right. And now remember, Coleman A Hatfield was a little boy, that's him there, and he would later on have a son. He is Cap's Hatfield's son. Coleman A was Cap's son. But Coleman A will have a son later on. His name will be Coleman C, the author of that book. Right. Okay. So the author of this book right here is actually Cap Hatfield's grandson. Okay. Which he would be the great-grandson of Devil Ance Hatfield. So you would think that he knows some of the history about the feud, about the family, and so forth like that, without a doubt. Sure. Now, in one part of Coleman Hatfield's book, he writes, and I'm not going to go through this extensively because Sheila's battery's low. We got enough for one more video before we have to call it a day. Right. So I've got to cut it short, but she is going to take pictures.
I'll take pictures of everything on that board there that you can see, and I'll post it at the end of the video so that when you want to stop it and look at it, you can.
And you will probably definitely want to stop and look at this one because there's a lot of controversial stuff in it. I've put emails in here from Thomas Dodson. Thomas Dodson wrote a book on the Hatfield-McCoy feud. And he says one thing in his book, and he says something else to me in our personal emails. I'll tell you the way I feel. Don't write me an email or tell me something if you wouldn't back it up or admit to it later on. That's the way. Tell it like it is. And so you're going to enjoy some of these writings, especially if you've read Tom's book. Now, if you haven't read it, it's up to you. It's the most disturbing and outright turned around. He's took several books from people throughout the years and copied certain things out of their books. Altina Waller been the #1, and Altina's probably the most discredited author there is out there. She says she copied her book from Otis, but I find different things that she didn't. She made up a lot of her own because she certainly didn't do research. Neither did Tom. So, Shep Hatfield, Coleman Hatfield, Coleman C says in his book is that when Cap was away running out west, that his brother Shepherd, or what Coleman A says rather, told his son Coleman C, that his brother starved to death or had malnutrition. He didn't have food to eat, or at least enough food to eat. Now, Coleman A, remember, is the little boy there holding the gun, and that's Coleman C's dad. So no doubt his dad talked to his son Coleman C, and he told him that Shep had actually died of malnutrition because they didn't have food to eat. And what happened, Devil Ance got so mad at Cap. Now Jim Vance is done being killed by now. Right. See, Devil Ance, he depended on Cap and Jim Vance to protect him. Contrary to what these people talk about, how badass he was. After Cap took off and Johnsy took off, Devil Ance had nobody. He had his workers, but that's not like having his son or his uncle there to protect him. And so I guess he said, well, I won't say it like that. Right. But Devil Ance doesn't appear that Devil Anse tried to help his family, according to what Tom Dodson writes me. Now, Tom Dodson says, I wish that Coleman C had never put that in his book. But yet, Tom Dodson's book is called Correcting History or something like that. But he makes a comment that he wished that he would never have put that in his book about Shep starving to death. Why not? And he says because that makes Devil Anse look bad. Well, I say if you're correcting history, write the truth no matter who it's on or what it's about. Now, I seen a video a while back. I'm going to get off of that. I'm going to let Sheila tell all about this in her posters when she takes a picture. But here's Shep's monument, and he's buried almost directly in front of Devil Anse's. Most people don't see it when they go up there, but it says Cap S. Hatfield. Cap S. Hatfield, and short for captain. And these people was talking a while back about a little Cap and how they called him Little Cap and so forth like that. And they was right in front of, they're talking about Cap. They was at Cap's tombstone,
yeah.
Which Cap's not buried at Devil Anse's. Nope. Remember, Cap's buried on another graveyard altogether different from his father.
Right.
He did not want to be buried on his father's cemetery. He didn't want to. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to discuss, if we haven't already, where somebody said Devil Anse said he couldn't be buried up here. No, that's not what Devil Anse said. Cap didn't want to be buried there after he was away, and he come home from out west, and he finds out that his son has starved to death.
And was buried there.
And Devil Anse had buried him up on his cemetery.
Right.
And which I imagine his wife didn't have no choice. Cap's gone, she don't know who to turn to. But they buried him on the Hatfield family cemetery. Mm-hmm. Cap didn't like that. His son had starved to death. So when you get a chance, I'm sure you're going to read the tale of the devil, because Coleman Hatfield and Keith Davis and people like that, you've got, it's about as good a book as you're going to get. Everything's not correct. Nobody's got everything correct. But what I want you to see here is what Tom Dodson writes to me in an email,
okay.
Thomas Dodson, and then what he writes in his book, which is two different things. Other than that, thanks for joining us. We're at the Hatfield McCoy Museum. If you're ever up this way, stop and visit us. We're not going to cover, well, we can't. You couldn't cover everything that we've got in here. No. But stop. You may find something interesting.
Yeah.
And
like, subscribe,
ring that bell.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Catch you next time.